Love you guys.
We're live, I think. Doesn't say yet, but awesome,
Okay.
everyone. Thursday night, Shredders Unite, our business call. Thank you so much for joining me. I am super excited because this is going to be a fun night. I have the opportunity to interview our other ambassador. Hold on, I always get that feedback. Sorry. We're back. I get to interview my good friend and ambassador, really the original ambassador for ER Shred, Jesse James Jamnick. And Jesse, a lot of you aren't aware of, has a significant experience in not only the network marketing industry, but also as an entrepreneur. And we thought it would be great to talk about the different aspects of what we've learned, what he's learned, and things that we can do to improve our ability to not only share, pay it forward, but at the same time, begin to build a residual income. So without further ado, there, Jesse, bud, are you there? Can you hear me?
What's happening?
Oh, I could tell you're all worked up.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here tonight, dude. I just got in the door. I shoved some eggs and some bacon and some prosciutto peppers down my throat. And I ran out here into my freaking garage and I am fired. I've been looking forward to this all day after just knocking out 20-foot high ceilings with Pops today. We just transformed a foyer and now hopefully we can share some good, valuable knowledge that hopefully people can take and go and transform their own life, because I think everybody deserves that, man.
Now, I hung wallpaper once because I thought I could do it. I'm like, kind of like Sean. I go, oh, I can do this, whatever. We'll hang wallpaper. And I did it with my ex-wife. And it's probably one of the many reasons why she's my ex. But that was one of the most stressful times of my life. And I don't know about how you and your dad do it, but I commend you because that's not an easy task in terms of the precision, lining things up on a crooked wall, the vertical stripes and the crazy stuff that you do. You're a real talent.
I thought you were saying about the challenge about working with my dad every day versus the wallpaper.
Not only working with your dad, but but think about it. You're working with your dad with something you've got to be totally anal about in terms of just measuring and lining up, and right?
Yeah, man. I'm still learning from him. I'm 41 and he's been doing this on and off since I was born. I mean, the man's just like a freaking, I call him the doctor of the walls. I mean, he goes in there and just like assesses. And I mean, he's the guy that can literally cut this stuff up by numbers. He doesn't even have to like hold it up or anything. He'll measure the entire room, figure out the width, the drop match, the straight match of the paper. And I mean, over the last 2 years of being able to work with him, it's really, really cool because Pops lived away from me for so long. And I traveled all over the US. I mean, I used to do direct sales marketing at one time, and literally from the East Coast to the West Coast. I mean, I was everywhere, and Dad was in Florida forever. So, that was after obviously him and my mom got divorced, and he kind of went through some spirals in life, and we kind of both were our thing. And I'm obviously as if you didn't know me, I'm a very the meeting is being recorded. Okay, cool. I'm a very I'm not an alpha personality.
Not that I don't trust Facebook, by the way. That's why Sean, I did that. I just backup to a backup.
Good. Yeah, so it's been cool. It's been really cool to work with him. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for sure.
Well, I mean, you'll look back on it, and this is valued time with your dad that you could never, ever replace. I look at what the initial opportunity was with our fulfillment company. The whole intent was, hey, if I can figure out a way to spend more time with my daughter, that's was the most important thing. And I knew it was going to go by fast, had no idea how fast it was about to go by. And you know what I'm talking about, because how old's your oldest daughter right now is what? 8?
11.
11. Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So she's coming along. I mean, she's going to be in high school before you know it.
Oh, she already thinks she's in high school.
Well, yeah, 12. Yeah, they get to be the tween years. It starts, right? So it's a lot of fun. I'm kind of glad that I'm been there, done that. So Jesse, let's start tonight in terms of what you just mentioned earlier, and that is you're like Sean in many respects. You have done a lot of different jobs that have literally groomed you for the person who you are today. You made the comment that you were involved in direct sales. Do you want to share with all of us what you were doing?
Yeah, for sure. I actually, it was when I was younger. I think I was let's see, I was probably about 21 years old, had absolutely no clue what I wanted to do with my life. The one thing Sean can beat me at, which I'm actually really jealous about, is he can say that he's never held a regular job. And I can only say that I've only held like less than a handful of regular jobs. There's just this problem with somebody telling me what to do, for crying out loud. Like, I don't know, I just can't take it. So direct sales was really cool. And the way that I got into that was, it was crazy because I was just looking in the newspaper when we still looked in the newspaper for jobs. Maybe I'm dating myself a little bit, but I still think I'm a young chicken. So I answered an ad, Bob. I answered an ad that said sports marketing. And I was like, sports marketing? Hell yeah. I grew up, I played hockey, I played football, I played baseball. And I went in and I did this interview, and it was in this office. And the guy that I met was really cool. He's very high energy. I was like, oh, this guy is really cool. I can get along with him. He was a former Marine, I think, a reconnaissance guy. And I was like, oh, this is a bad dude. And come to find out, what this sports marketing was, it was actually an ad of a ploy to get you in the door so they could pitch an opportunity to you. And that opportunity was that you could learn from scratch how to manage people, how to motivate people, how to build a team, how to do direct sales yourself. And what I ended up doing was actually going residential door to door, selling coupons in the middle of winter in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, man.
And I was like, woo! So this was stuff like Papa Gino's, Domino's, oil lube places. For $20, you can get 4 absolutely free oil changes. Then every time you go back, you can pick something else for free. Same thing with pizza. I sold Fast Wax, which is the waterless wash and wax for cars. We raised money for the DARE program, drug abuse resistance education, missing children, child protection education of America. It was really cool. But that's how I started my sales career, was knocking on people's doors, either getting loved or 90% of the time getting told to off. I'll be nice because this is your call, not mine. So I'll hold back just a little bit, not too much. Or I was getting chased out of college dorm rooms because we were the guy, we would go in as a team and be like, okay, dude, I'll hit the top floor. You hit the bottom floor. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. And if somebody like tells on us, we'll run out the exit sides. So we spent a lot of time doing that as well. But man, did I learn some what I call rhinoceros skin, because 90% of the time I was told no. And believe it or not, as crazy of an opportunity as that sounds, you can literally start door to door, and then they give you interviews once you get to leadership. So I had to like hit certain requirements to get to leadership. Then I became a leader. Then I took interviews out and I showed them the opportunity, showed them the sales, and showed them and see if they could do it or not. Like, I evaluated them, they evaluated us. And mind you, you want to talk about a numbers game? That was a lot of numbers to find the right people to get the attitude to go door to door, especially in winter. But eventually I built a team. I forgot what I think it was like 6 leaders underneath me or something like that. And my team had to hit a certain production goal. I got promoted to assistant manager. I came inside the office. I learned the business side of things, the interviews, the placing the ads, the recruiting, the hire, the fire, all that kind of good stuff. And then I literally got my own business. And I opened up my very first office in Orlando, Florida. The supplier that we had would actually consign us the merchandise. So whether it was toys or Fast Wax or the coupon books that we did, the supplier would consign that to us. We were responsible for that inventory. They would come like once a month to do it. But that was the way that we were actually able to open these offices for a relatively small amount of money compared to traditional business. I mean, we're talking like first, last, maybe security, and then some used office furniture, and boom, we were in business. We just placed some ads and we went to town.
That is a lot. But here's the good news. You said a couple of things here that are really, really cool. One, obviously went door to door and you had to learn how to accept no. You also recognize in a very short period of time that when you knocked on the door, doorbell rings, whatever, the door opens, you had about 10 seconds to get the person's interest or attention. Otherwise, It was definitely slam the door in your face, right?
Yeah.
So, and you were selling different things, which I think is great, because you had to find the value proposition in each of the things that you represented for them to say, I'll take a look at it. That's interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing you mentioned is the fact that you have been an entrepreneur for almost your entire life, except for, it sounds like you had a couple W-2, you were an employee. I was at McDonald's. I was at Bear Stearns.
I did Burger King. We were competition, baby. Who made the better burger? You
guys made a better burger. We had better fries. Hands down, we had better fries. You had the better burger. But I absolutely agree to that. That's the craziest thing. I'm just happy as heck I'm still alive after eating that garbage. But we basically came from the world of hard knocks. I mean, I was 15. As soon as I turned 16, got a driver's license. I learned that the guy that did inventory turns and actually cleaned the McDonald's inside and out, started at like 2, 3 in the morning, worked to 11. He got to eat as much as he wanted, and he made about triple of what I was working hourly flipping fries or burgers. So as soon as I got that gig, I was the weekend maintenance guy, and it was 2 a.m. to 11 in the morning. And it was awesome. I would literally play a football game, go to the party afterwards, go right from the party to McDonald's. I'd turn up the fryers, and I would make myself I had my own version of a Big Mac.
Yes.
And then I'd go to work. But anyway, getting back to what we're here about.
Call that the grind. That's the grind, Bob. That's the grind, right?
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I even started earlier. Like, I was that guy in middle school who would get in trouble for selling the packs of gum. So I'd make my mom take me to the store and buy me the 4-pack of gum. And then I would literally double my money. So I would get each pack for like 50 cents. I would sell each pack for $1, right? And I would have a candy bag full instead of books. School wasn't like really my friend, except for science when science came along. But I would have the bag full of candy. I'd be slinging stuff right out of my bag. I was like, hell, I need to make some money.
Well, we're a lot alike. I mean, I think I'd had the entrepreneurial bug when I was in grade school. I think I was like 5th grade, 4th grade. My mom used to make giant chocolate chip cookies. She'd make a big batch, and I would eat one myself. But then I would sell the other cookies for entire lunch money. Back then, this is 1973, 4, 5, whatever. Yeah. I'm in grade school, right? And I was charging, at that time, lunch money was 60 cents for a full meal. And I was taking 60 cents per cookie. And then I would turn around and I would take 10 cents of my profit, and I'd go buy myself an ice cream. Anyway, okay, so now I digress. We got to get into more of the meat and greet in terms of the nitty gritty of what we're doing here with the ER Shred. So you've basically mentioned that you had the W-2 job, but you recognized right away, once you had a taste of working for yourself and you had the quote unquote freedom. Come on, buddy, where are you?
Is that your dog making that sound?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was looking to mute somebody, and that's your dog.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I literally have drugged him up. I gave him a Benadryl about an hour ago.
Oh, good, man. I love dogs. You're talking to a dog lover. My house is dogs. I don't even buy furniture for myself. It's freaking dog furniture.
No. He's a good man. I love him, but I'm just trying to keep him from being a complete nightmare. Anyway.
He's good.
So
let's rock it.
Freedom. You had the taste of the entrepreneurial bug. You didn't have the boss. And that is where I could say, as a stockbroker, working for yourself, you were your own boss. And I've been 100% commissioned my entire life. I mean, we were W-2. We had to have a draw legally, but come on, knock it off. So the bottom line is, once I had that taste of working for myself, I'm like you. I'm not good with someone telling me what to do and how to do it, when to do it. You know, I want to kind of be my own person, which leads us to, we'll just fast forward with your wealth of experience. We all know that you are, the Shred ambassador, you're a nutritional coach. You spent a lot of time and years studying to get the certifications. You're team Isagenix. I'm assuming you're obviously a model of terms of what it means to be in shape. But I'm assuming with that is probably a training certification, or you understand what it's required to be healthy and to get the best out of your body. Human performance, you are a little bit off, keister, mentally ill maybe, in that you're willing to do the things called the Georgia death race and put yourself through that. I think that's wonderful, and go for it while you're 41 and still a youngster. Because I think when you hit 59, you might be thinking about, not putting too much mileage on that body, but maybe not. I don't know. No, I'm making excuses. All right. You're going to end up getting angry at me. So Jesse, fast forward to ER Shred. We had an amazing talk the other day. We basically want to make this useful for everybody who's here initially. What is wrong with you? You've never done this. I'm sorry.
He's freaking excited that I'm on the call tonight.
No, he is. You know what? Give me 1 second, guys. Jesse, here's my question to you.
Yeah, go.
I want you to start talking about, what you see as the opportunity from a standpoint of being an entrepreneur as it relates to ER Shred. What is that mindset shift? We have plenty of people who are having great results. People are becoming aware of what's possible from a health standpoint. I got to get his ball. It's underneath the desk. That's what he's crying about. Of course, the only he's got 50 toys around here. The one that's underneath the desk.
Grab his ball.
I will. So
grab
go for
that ball.
The question is, what do you see as the entrepreneurial opportunity as it relates to ER Shred?
Yes, absolutely. That was that final question, huh? Okay, Kenny Shredder's balls. That's fantastic. Kenny Shredder has found his balls, ladies and gentlemen. We are good to go. Anyways, yeah, man, I think beyond the ER Shred, Bob, I mean, I've been very fortunate, when I was growing up young, as a young adult, I think that a lot of what I was trying to do when I was doing the entrepreneurial thing, even when I got into working out and stuff like that, was really trying to mask my childhood. And I was trying to hide a lot of things that I was ashamed of. I mean, I didn't even want to live life or anything to that nature. And, when I got into sales, what it did was after a little while, it created this amazing energy about myself, and it started that self-belief thing. And then once I understood, I think people kind of get self-employed mixed up. They're like, people would always say to me like, "Oh, you're so lucky you run your own business." I'm like, you have no freaking clue. I mean, if you take what I do today, I mean, my dad and I grind from Monday through Saturday. We leave my house at 8:30 a.m. I mean, I literally walked in my door at 7 o'clock tonight. I chefed up some dinner. I threw it down my throat and I hopped on this call. I wasn't kidding when I told you. Like, that's the grind of that. Now, is there benefits to that? Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can take a vacation when I want. When I go fly and see my daughter, I can schedule those days off. I mean, there's beautiful benefits to that. The tax benefits, the savings that you can save as a entrepreneur, even a small-based business owner. And one of the reasons why, I've actually always been a part of network marketing. And I'm going to just throw that out there because I'm not scared of network marketing. I believe in my soul that network marketing is one of the most beautiful industries that's ever been created. I understand why there's a bad rap. I understand why there's some ick about it, some ooh about it because of the way that it's been promoted. I was a part of a bunch of other companies before I actually found Isagenix 6 years ago. And I'll be honest with you, when I first found Isagenix, I was turned off for about 6 months because I had that bad taste of not seeing it done properly. A lot of it was also my fault as well, because I do believe that no matter which opportunity you're in, it's not the opportunity that doesn't work, it's the person that doesn't work. Because in every single opportunity, you'll always find success, in examples. But with the ER Shred specifically, Bob, I am re-fired up. I am re-motivated. I am re-centered, and I lost my mojo. I'll be honest with you. I lost my mojo. Like, I grew to a 3-star Golden Circle, 2-star Crystal Executive with Isagenix. That's potential to make well over 6 figures. My best year yet so far has been just shy of 6 figures. So I had a really killer year with that. I made a ton of money in the executive leadership pool. And, I'm not saying that everybody can do this and this is for everybody. And I also want to be very real with people that while I've had my extreme good years, just like with any good business, notice what I said, with any good business, you're going to have ups and downs. And I've definitely had my fair share of ups and downs. Like, this is not just, sunshine and rainbows every single day. I mean, it's grind, it's work. It's, a lot of what I've learned in my direct sales really has carried over into this. But the opportunity from a simplistic standpoint of we have our own identity. We're not necessarily relying on a company. With the ER Shred, we've created this umbrella underneath this massive trustworthy company who we call our fulfillment company, Isagenix, because of their standards. And I think the opportunity today, Bob, for me personally, is better than ever before. And I think for a lot of other people, we're seeing that too.
So people have heard of, they've obviously understand or heard of Robert Kiyosaki and Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant.
Yes.
And if you haven't,
that book changed me. That book changed me.
And if anybody out there has not yet read that book, here's a selfless plug. You absolutely want to read that book and understand the cash flow quadrant, what it means. And the four corners is pretty simplistic. I mean, you're an employee, you're a corporation, you're an entrepreneur, and then I think, owner of your business. And then you're an investor.
You have employee and you have like me,
self-employed,
a small business owner. Then you have your investors, and then you have your big business owners, which is the right side of the quadrant is your residual side, your big side, meaning that you can literally go on a 6-month vacation and your stuff is still turning, it's still kicking. Where if I take time off and Dad and I don't go to somebody's house and show up and hang some wallpaper, there's no payday that day.
So let's back up a little bit. So basically, we all know what it is to have a job. We get paid salary or we get paid hourly. You take, you get a W-2, bing, bang, boom. You're your own owner of your own business, let's just say, or you're an entrepreneur. You're getting a 1099 or you're owning your own business, big or small. Let's talk about the hassle factor. I mean, I know the benefits of owning your own business. It sounds cool to be your own boss, make your own hours, etc. You mentioned one of them, and that is obviously if you're not showing up to work, you're not getting paid, or if you're not doing a job. What about other things? I know you mentioned wallpaper is a really cool business because there's not a lot of overhead or inventory, but there is bookkeeping. You do have some inventory of what you're going through, right? As far as in putting up the wallpaper, ladders, et cetera, equipment, trucks, whatever. What are some of the hassles? There's a big hassle factor when owning your own business, or even in the concept of a franchise. Owning a franchise is not easy. And one of them, being your own boss, you just mentioned it. You're going to be working 12, 13, 14, 15 hours a day and whatever's required, right? And then if you're a large enough company to have your own employees, you're responsible for your employees, but when your employees don't show up, who ends up doing the work for them? You do, right? So it's not a walk in the park. It's a big responsibility, but it's also a big pain in the ass. What I wanted to mention is what I love about network marketing. Go ahead.
But I think the other thing, Bob, you were asking me about the hassle. So let's go through, wallpaper is a little bit different. I think there's different types of business, right? So let's go back to like my direct sales marketing offices where, for me, when you look at the grand scheme of things of business, I don't think people realize, for instance, let's say you want to open up a McDonald's. You literally have to be worth $1 million in net liquid asset. And then you have to be on a waiting list. And then, you're lucky if you get that, right? A Dunkin' Donuts, I think when I looked at a Dunkin' Donuts franchise, I literally had to be worth $500,000 of liquid cash. Now, I don't know anybody that's got that much around, just laying around. And if you've built up to that, great, congratulations, but that's not me, okay? So for me, the smaller businesses were always that thing because I never had built up that cash flow yet. I knew it was possible. I learned from people. I read the books. You talked about Robert Kiyosaki, and I just want to tell everybody all 3 of his books I think are a must read. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is number 1. Then you go to Cash Flow Quadrant, and then you go to The Business of the 21st Century, which is all about network marketing. And that's a beautiful, beautiful book because what I love about Robert Kiyosaki so much is that he has never been a part of a network marketing company, but he is one of the biggest proponents of network marketing, saying that every single person should get into it because it's such a low risk. Even when I did my own direct sales marketing company, Bob, and I had a supplier that would give me all my inventory, so I didn't have to pay the thousands of dollars that it would have cost to stock my warehouse full of books and toys and thousands of cans of waterless wash and wax. Like I got that on consignment, but I was responsible for that. And I'll tell you, there was not one inventory that went by every 2 months that I wasn't missing product out of my warehouse. And you know who had to pay for that? Me. No matter who I put in charge back there to oversee my warehouse, there was that. Not only that, people don't realize, like, you got to buy the toilet paper, the paper towel, the soap. You got to clean, or you got to get the cleaning company. You got to keep the office up. First, last, and security on a big building that's what's called split space with warehouse and office. We're talking like $3,000, $4,000 a month. So we're still talking $10,000, $15,000 up front to be able to open that location. And the way that I was able to do that was I would have it. And then, you know, I told you how I got there myself. Well, the people that I hired, I'd offer them that same opportunity because I built that relationship of trust with my supplier. If I taught somebody and I promoted somebody to management, I had the opportunity to open up another location, give that person their own business. They got the merchandise the same way. And here's what really excited me about that. Number one, if you don't know me, I genuinely, truly love to help people. That was really, really what motivated me because I wasn't anything special. I'm still not anything special. I didn't go to college right away. I didn't have the degrees. Like I hustled. I called it the PhD, poor, hungry, and determined is what the frick I was, okay? And that's what's going to get you through. But when I opened those offices, I still had to put up that money and I trusted that person. Do you know how many times I got screwed and that person went negative and I ended up paying $25,000 in back debt or $40,000 in back debt? I ran the #1 office in the country out of all those locations and it still struggled to save money and build a future for myself, even though that was that. So you want to talk about hassles of a business, and then it was keeping good employees. I had to literally do 30 interviews a day just to find like 3 good quality sales reps. And that's lucky if they stuck around. I would do that every day, 5 days a week.
Okay, now we painted the picture. It doesn't sound fun. It's not as pretty.
But it's rewarding at the same time. I don't want to take away. I do want people to understand the reality, you know?
You're like me, man. You get wound up and you're going to go fast, like when I was a broker. You mentioned you had you didn't have the the degree or the PhD or the MBA. You mentioned poor. What? Say it again.
Poor, hungry, and determined. And I still got my PhD. Every day I show up poor, hungry, and determined.
So people that are on this call that come from corporate America or are familiar with Wall Street firms, I worked for a company called Bear Stearns, and at the time, before it went public, and even after it was public, the CEO, chairman of the board, was a guy by the name of Ace Greenberg. He was considered the maverick trader on Wall Street. Donald Trump did business with him. All the big people worked through him. And we were considered the #1 firm on Wall Street in the 80s for equity trading, even up to the 90s, until Ace stepped down. He always had a famous saying. He didn't want MBAs. He said, anybody can get an MBA. If you're smart, you can get an MBA if you have the opportunity, et cetera. But he wanted PSDs, and he called it poor, smart, with a deep desire to be rich. So it's kind of the same thing. Both of them are poor, but it comes from basically you're smart, street smarts, but you have a deep, deep desire. And I think when I look at network marketing, I think of it isn't what you know, it's more of where's your passion, where's your desire, right? So we'll hold that thought. Getting back to Robert Kiyosaki and the cash flow quadrant, we know working for somebody else, making them wealthy, that's garbage, right? That's not how you're going to get wealthy. We know being a business owner, you can become wealthy, but with a lot of headaches and a lot of hassle factors. And still, as you mentioned, with the #1 office in your company, you still were basically just getting above water, but you weren't creating wealth, right? Mm-hmm. What I love about network marketing, what I want people to think about is that this is the single best opportunity you will ever see because it's the perfect blend of the two worlds. Being an entrepreneur, one, there's work involved, but you're also getting the benefits of being an investor. And you can be an investor with no big money up front. I will say this over and over again. If you want to create wealth, it takes money to make money. I know a lot of you've heard that term before. And you're thinking, great, I don't have a lot of money to get started. I don't have that money to risk. I don't have that upfront money for the franchise, like you said. McDonald's was years ago, 30, 50 years ago, it was $1 million to buy a damn franchise. My point is with our company, our fulfillment company, it used to be a $29 price of admission to get your account. Now you don't even have that. So what is your price of entry? I mean, you're buying your nutrition. You're consuming your nutrition, right? Yeah. So what I want to get at is really in terms of laying out the groundwork in terms of what we have with this opportunity. But I think we've taken it, as the famous chef, I can't think of his name right now, but when he goes, bam, You know, you're talking, you know, the guy I'm talking about. The
Emerald
chef.
Lagasse.
Yeah, there you go. So he goes, bam, we just kicked it up a notch. That's when I think of ER Shred is we literally have, I shouldn't say we, I mean, you guys did collectively. I kind of came along, but Sean and Crystal, the beauty of this is if you were doing network marketing in the pure sense of the word, you're promoting the network marketing company. And as soon as you start promoting a network marketing company, you have other issues that come up or, you know, people rejecting you. Oh, you're doing one of those things. Or, oh yeah, I heard of that. I don't want to do that. We're branding ER Shred. We're branding a concept. We're branding our community. And oh, by the way, it's attached to a network marketing company. But it's the one network marketing company of any that I've seen that I think has the most democratic, fair compensation model of anybody that I've seen, because literally we all pay the same price for our product. There are no discounts because you are higher up in the company.
Yeah.
We get paid for what we do in terms of sharing it, paying it forward. The people who are more successful, sharing it more often, have an opportunity to make more money. So let's talk about, I know where you're at. You're about to be a dad again, right? You've got a newborn on the way. You've got responsibilities. Your daddy, you mentioned, is like in his, like 67, I think you said?
67.
67 years old. Well, dad's not going to be running up and down ladders probably for another 40 years or another 30 years, right? While hanging wallpaper, you're going to eventually have to hire employees if you stay in that business, obviously. The bottom line is, Jesse, what does your future look like? What are you planning on? What are you building upon? And what I want people to begin to consider is you can do ER Shred and be a proponent of the product, share it with others, even slowly, but over time you can build something that could be considerable. So it doesn't require you to say, yes, I'm looking for another opportunity. I'm looking for another job. How much time extra a week do you have outside
right
of
now?
your work? Yeah.
4 hours, maybe.
Okay. Right. But you're able to, in that time frame, carve out enough time to be an ambassador of ER Shred, doing a damn good job of it, running this empire, if you will, on the nutritional side. But longer term, what's the big picture? What I want to get at is you have the opportunity long term to create what's referred to as a residual income.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, here's the good news. I've been building on a residual income for the last 6 years of my life. I've never stopped building a residual income because, you know, I've screwed up enough in regular business to understand the value of something epic when it falls into my lap. And even in past network marketing companies, when it didn't work out for me, I still believed in the opportunity. It just made sense to me. Like I just told you how much I spent and my business was peanuts. $15,000 in the world of business is peanuts, ladies and gentlemen. It's nothing, okay? When you really think of it, right? When push comes to shove. And with something like this, like, you know, I can't help but laugh when somebody's like, nah, I just don't think, you know, whatever. And I'm like, do you understand what you just passed up for $300? For $300. It cost $1,000 for a freaking new cell phone these days. And we're turning away epic opportunity for $300. And, you know, so let's back that up. My future, Bob, to answer that question, to not derail from that, is I will be at the top. Like there's no doubt in my mind that I'll be at the freaking top. Now, here's the cool part. I understand because of what I've already gone through and I had it in my mind. Now, this doesn't mean that it was not a challenge. It doesn't mean that I haven't called Sean multiple times throughout the year and be like, dude, what the is going on, and almost lost my shit. In fact, if you don't want to quit multiple times climbing the ladder to the top, you're doing it wrong, for crying out loud. You're doing it wrong. You're not taking enough chances. You're not going for it. You're letting other people dictate your life. And for me, what I look at network marketing is it's just as I think that, you know, if you look at any major business person, I'm a big believer. Like I don't read novels. I read self-development books, Bob. You know, I read the Robert Kiyosaki's. I read, you know, I've read, you know, what you would call it, Tony Robbins books. I mean, all those guys, like everybody in that realm, right? I can't think of the names now that it's like I'm on that game show. It's the easiest question in the world, but I can't think of the damn names. But I got every podcast in my phone. So all my spare time when I'm climbing ladders and I'm pasting wallpaper and I'm driving in my car and I'm doing this, I've realized that self-knowledge is more valuable than any other knowledge that you can possibly get. All those stupid books that I paid for nutrition and those certifications and all that crap, really where my power comes from is in real life experience and messing this up for 20 years so I can help people today. And the beautiful thing that I love about network marketing is you can literally jack this up and get paid while you learn. So I wanted to talk about the belief of it. So my bigger vision is I have no doubt in my mind that I will be at the top of the company. You know, I don't think that's for everybody. I think you got to be a little wacky. You know, I don't think people realize what it actually takes to get there, because for whatever weird reason, network marketing has gotten a bad rap because it's the only industry in the world that somebody joins on a Tuesday and they're pissed off that they're not millionaires by Saturday. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's the same thing when somebody's trying to get healthy, right? Like you just shit on yourself for 14 years and after 11 days, you're crying because you're not healthy. It's kind of the same mindset. You know what I mean? So I think that the nutrition side, the business side, the opportunity of the ER shred, I envision myself with this massive team, with all these beautiful leaders. And Bob, I built that team before and that team crumbled. And I know where I made those mistakes. I know what I did wrong. And a lot of people will go, oh, it's the company's fault. It's my upline's fault. And I'm going to be honest with you. And I did do that. It's the easiest thing to do and go, oh, it's that person's fault. And when I finally realized that, I said, no, it's not. It's your fault, you jackass. You decided to stop calling. You decided to stop recruiting. You decided to start marketing. You decided to stop showing up to the calls for a little while. That's your fault. That is your fault that it's not successful. So it's the most beautiful thing. And it's the lowest cost of entry, which is why Robert Kiyosaki is a big proponent of it, because the average person can come into this with no experience whatsoever. You don't have to have sales. You don't have to have marketing. You don't even have to be good with people. It is a skill that you'll need to learn. And if you read a book called Go Pro, if you really want to be good at this business, there's an epic trainer. His name is Eric Worre, and he's like my network marketing Bible. Okay, that book Go Pro, there it is. Melanie's holding it up. That is my network marketing Bible. There is, if network marketing was a college offering, it would be the easiest college course on the face of this planet. I also think, Bob, that that's why so many people take it for granted. Same reason we take our mind for granted. Same reason we take our body for granted. Because it's so simple. It's so easy. And it's basically free. It's basically free. If you think about it, all you're doing is buying products that you use. You're eating your own overhead. There's no overhead, right? So it's the most beautiful thing and it's simple, but I think a lot of people take it for granted. So I've learned those mistakes in the past. I'm thankful I'm where I'm at today, 6 years later into this particular opportunity with many more years of experience besides that. But for me, Bob, it's just going to keep growing. It's just going to keep getting better. And my bigger vision is to not necessarily have to go show up to somebody's house. You know, I thought this was really cool because I convinced my dad to move here 2 years ago. And because we were apart for 16 years, I thought it would be really cool to do business with him, not realizing that our business was going to explode the way that it is right now. We're already booking into the end of September, for crying out loud. Like, people are like eating wallpaper. It's just out of control right now, especially in Charlotte. I don't know about everywhere else, but you know, my bigger vision is not to do that. That's not my dream. I do wallpaper, I make a living, I pay my bills, I do what I have to do, but my future is with residual income. I think if people understood the power that residual income brings to their life, I think they would knock down anything to get through it. The meme says knock down a brick wall, but I think it would be anything, to be honest with you.
So you made a statement earlier, even though you're a business owner, you mentioned that when you don't show up, you're not bringing in cash flow, you're not bringing in money, right? So under that definition, is that creating wealth?
No.
Exactly. Okay.
No.
Good answer. You correct. But here's what I want people to understand. It doesn't matter where you start or what level of commitment you have. It doesn't go away as long as you're consuming the products and you're staying active and buying the products.
Yeah.
Our volume never flushes. It banks forever. I have people who've done it for a year or up to 2 years, share it with two people, and then like, whoa, I just made $2,400. I just made, you know, $2,000, $1,500. And they literally look back and say, oh my God, this almost paid for my consumption for the past year. Which, when people always ask me, or Peter Greenlaw, my sponsor, always likes to get me to do what's, tell me what a return on investment compares to Isagenix or this company, this opportunity. And I would say, well, you can't do that, because in order to have a return on investment, you have to have an investment. What was your money you put into it? As you said, we're consuming our product. There's no investment. And oh, by the way, buddy, I was thinking about you the other night, and I said, thank God for Jesse. I said, Sean, Chris will come up with this whole idea. I'm eating meat. I put mushrooms now that I'm in maintenance. I put mushrooms. It's not a culprit of mine, but I put mushrooms on my steaks, lots of butter, right? I have not thrown out any food that I've been consuming for the past 8 months, because I literally buy my steaks fresh 2 or 3 days. They've already been cooked. It's done. But I can tell you that summertime with the girls here, because we got to have a little bit of fruit. We got to have the vegetables. We got to have this, and that. I'm throwing out stuff every single week that goes bad. And I think about Whole Foods, how expensive it is. And I almost feel like I'm throwing out about 25% of the stuff that I buy that are vegetables and fruits and so on, because they spoil. Anyway, getting back to our opportunity, you mentioned an important fact. And one of the things is that with this opportunity, there are no glass ceilings. It doesn't discriminate. Anybody can do this. There's no barrier of entry. It does require hard work. I mean, that's probably the one barrier, or commitment. People have to commit. They have to do the hard work, as you always say. But it goes both ways. You got to do the hard work in choosing to do ER Shred. You have to make that commitment. You have to do the hard work in the gym, but you got to do the hard work with the business. If you want to become successful, if you want to be at the top, I know you know what it requires, but it is a lot of work in terms of being out there, connecting with people and so on. But here's one thing that this comes from the direct, according to Kathy Coover, the co-founder of our company, this comes from the direct selling industry, but the direct selling industry in total is responsible for more women making 6 figures in this economy of ours in the United States and North America than any other industry, period.
Yeah.
And when I think about that, it's mind blowing, because everybody thinks of the quote unquote 6 figures. That's a great job. I don't know about you, but I also realize we go through our ups and downs. My biggest hit when it comes to my business with this is that you have peaks and valleys, but the fixed costs for me, I don't have like rent. I don't have electric bills for my office. I don't have supplies, and I don't have inventory, all those things that are required, right? But what does hurt is, for example, is inflation. Fuel prices are up, cost more money to fill up the gas tank. Food prices have gone up. Almost everything is getting hit. And that's a real tax to all of us. So when I look at the opportunity, so what does that mean? I mean, had the conversation with my wife the other night. I said, we just need to basically knuckle down, do a little bit more of the do, and we will generate the income to make up the difference. That's one. But the other is creating long-term wealth. And that is something that, I wanted to ask you. I know where I'm at, and that is I went from a position of thinking that I was financially set and I didn't need another dime and everything was set. Life has a way of throwing a monkey wrench in your plans. Luckily for me, it wasn't a health crisis as much. I didn't have any severe disease to contend with or deal with. But between the internet bubble and whatever, I decided with a client, rather than taking my firm side of things that just wanted to bury the client. And trust me, Wall Street, they care about their own bottom line. They always have these wonderful commercials that the good hands people, we care about you, we love you, etc. I mean, you're just a number to them. So that's my thought on that. But bottom line is that for those that ever think, I lost everything. So I had to start out from literally ground zero, 2004, from scratch, nada, nothing. And what allows me to sleep at night is I know that with this opportunity, Jesse, that I'm not worried about my retirement.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about providing for my family. I'm not worried about basically what am I going to do once, you know, at you turn 65, et cetera. So what are the things that you mentioned another thing that I thought was interesting. You get the benefits of the tax benefits, and you said you did a great job of explaining it the other night to me. And that is a big asset that even if you weren't to do the business, but you have your position, let's say you turn it on as an associate, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, you still have the opportunity to go into business for yourself, and you have some tax benefits as your own business owner.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. I think, you know, so I'm not a CPA. I'm not an accountant. I've just been a business, an entrepreneur for a long time, and working with accountants and hiring accountants and getting people that are better than me at that and learning from them. You know, people don't realize that just for having a home-based business like a network marketing business, you can literally save $4,000 to $8,000 on average per year in taxes. Okay. So I think, you know, just, you know, one of the things I want to do, you know, if you don't know me, Bob, obviously I'm not a straight shooter. Yeah, right. I'm just going to tell it how it is. Look, the average person in network marketing is not going to make six figures. In fact, only 1% of people are actually going to do that. It's statistically proven. So you got to be a player. You got to show up every day. You got to want the bigger picture. You have to be willing to be a good student. You have to tap in to the knowledge that's being provided for you. But this is what I just want to touch on real quick. I think, you know, what happens with network marketing is, you know, there's a couple of things. So whenever I talk to somebody and they give me the, oh, it's one of those things, and I'm like, hell yeah, it's one of those things. I wouldn't have it any other way. You see, I show up with belief because I'm educated enough at this point, and I remember the day that I wasn't educated. And I too was like, oh, that's one of those pyramid things. And for anybody who still thinks that, I want to recommend another book for you by a phenomenal lady, and her name is Pamela Barnum, and she's actually part of our company. I believe she's still part of our bigger company. And she wrote a book that says it's a lawyer's case for network marketing. Not just any lawyer. She was the top of the top in the criminal justice department in Canada. I mean, I forgot what they call them in Canada, but she was that lady, okay? She ran the show, and she got into network marketing along with her husband, who was like another federal prosecutor. So once I actually got out of my own way, Bob, and I opened my mind to understanding how simple of an opportunity this was and all the benefits that came with it, I looked at it like I look at food. Like once I learned something about food, for instance, incubation in our shakes, right? Now that I know what I know about incubation in our shakes, I'm an idiot, in my opinion, to not do that and put it in my body every day. Well, now that I know what I know about network marketing and the opportunity and the value that it creates and what it can create, I'm an idiot to at least not give it a shot, even if I'm never one of those $1 million earners. Do you understand? So I think people, you know, we hear these stories about, oh, this person just made $6,000 this week, and this person just became our next millionaire. And yes, that's amazing, but the opportunity is still epic for the average person. Bob? $500 extra a month. $500 extra a month has the ability to save marriages. Statistically, it is proven the number one cause for divorce is financial hardship. Now, I don't know about any one of you, but an extra $500 in my pocket, cha-ching, and that's not something to turn my head down to. That's residual income. Or maybe it comes from PIBs. But you know what? I would never have that chance to make that 500 or even that 200. If it's 200 a week, ladies and gentlemen, is almost $1,000 a month. That's almost $12,000 a year. When you start to stack up the compounding interest, plus the tax savings, plus, let's not forget, Bob, when you get into something like network marketing, this is what I love. I loved my other business because I got to learn from people that were above me. Never. If you open the reason people spend so much money to buy into a franchise, why? Because it's already laid out. The groundwork has been done. The hard stuff has been done. Doesn't mean you don't need to work hard every day. Doesn't mean that if you don't follow the rules, your business is not, your business won't be successful if you don't follow the franchise rules, correct? but you put up a lot of money to get there. And network marketing to me is such a beautiful thing because you literally get all the free knowledge that you could possibly get your hands on. You know, we have people that have made 600, 700,000 plus dollars a year that are willing to share their information with us. And the beautiful thing about it is that if you really understand the concept, guess what, Bob? They said yes one day, just like you and I. They started with 0 people on their team, just like you and I. Same product, same opportunity, same comp plan, and they figured that out. And it's just because of what's taken in between. But I wanted to share that because I really want to get across the point of how valuable just staying in the fight is for people, even if you're only just buying your product. I want you to understand, look at the community of ER Shred, for instance. Look at Bob, if I had a financial question, I have access to you now as a friend of mine. I didn't even know you before this. I could possibly get some information from you, just like I'm going to turn around and you can call me and I can help you with your nutrition. Or I can get information from my buddy Sean, who's learned from his dad, Tony Escobar, both geniuses in business. I mean, these people do not have to work another day in their life. Sean retired at 30 years old. He is my fucking superhero. Do you understand? That is my superhero. And he chose to come back. So it's just understanding that the value that we have that's available to us for literally the cost of food, And we're talking like $125 to $150 a month. It's almost silly when you think about it. I mean, I've had the opportunity in my 6 years of this company, I've learned from Tony Robbins. He was live on stage, 4 rows in front of me on the stage. I would have paid $5,000+ to go and see that man at one of his events. But because I said yes, and I was part of this amazing bigger picture and bigger company, I got that privilege. Brendan Bouchard is another person that I got to learn from. I read his book, The 8 Habits of Highly Successful Entrepreneurs, 20 years of research and study. I got to see him live. $10,000 to go to his event, Bob. I got to network and mingle with lawyers and police officers. And when I finally opened my brain to understand the bigger picture, the epic human beings that I got involved with upscaled my life. So just for being here, even if I didn't make $1, and I've made over $200,000 cumulatively now in Isagenix, and that's okay. I wish it was bigger, but it's my fault that it's not. You know, a good friend of ours, Adam Siss, he's made double that, almost more than double, actually more than double that, same amount of time, different situations, still amazing value for both of us. Do you understand? He's not in a better situation than me. It's just a different path that was there. But the values that we get from the benefits, from the people that we get to interact with, from the upscaling of our life, I mean, I could go on and on and on about the other benefits that we get besides just the opportunity to create the most powerful income in the world, which is residual income. And we all do get that. And I'll tell you from my experience, Bob, and you've seen it too, being part of financial stuff and other companies, this is hands down the best compensation plan that I have ever been a part of. And I've been a part of 6 of them and studied all the other ones because I up-leveled, I surrounded myself, and I learned from those other people, and I've learned that knowledge. This is hands down the best one. I mean, I'm still on average bringing in, you know, I still have a big bank account because I saved that money, Bob. So that's my put away fund. You know, they say you should have $2,000. I have well over $2,000. I'm not going to tell you the numbers. That's gaudy, right? But well over that amount. And that's all residual income. I paid for my fiance's engagement ring with residual income money. I paid for vacations with residual income money. You know what I mean? There's so many things that I've done with that. So even if people say to me, like, I never understood this thing where people are like, oh, I already make 6 figures. So you're telling me that there's a such thing as too much money. Get the fuck out of here. What are you talking about, right? Like there is no such thing. So even if it's only 20,000, people go, only 20,000, only $20,000 of residual income. Are you shitting me? In 5 years, that's only $100,000 that you wouldn't have had before if you can build your business to that. It's time for people to wake up. This is just as important as our health. Right? Health is important. Health is our greatest wealth. Money doesn't buy happiness, but as Adam says and other people say, it's right up there with oxygen. It's freaking important, and we need it to live life. I also believe that if good people make amazing money, as my buddy Chris Hart, not my buddy, but I wish he was my good friend, but Chris Harder says, another Isagenix millionaire who runs a podcast for the love of money. If you haven't checked that out, I highly recommend that too. You see, I get all this knowledge from all these pieces, Bob. I would have none of this, if I closed my mind and said no to this opportunity. None of what I'm sharing with you, I'd be able to share with you. It's all because of this. So I just wanted to paint that bigger picture too, Bob, besides just money. Although it's important, and although it's beautiful, and although it's done amazing things for my life to benefit on the additional, there's just so much more that I think people miss out on when they give up on an awesome opportunity like this. Even if it's just eating the food and getting the most amazing health, you're still winning, friends.
You can, oh, Jesse, you still there?
And you're part of an awesome community. You just don't get that.
Right. So one thing I wanted to mention is that, I mean, what happens when you make an additional $500,000, $2,000 a month? I know to be 2-star, which is in our company, we talk about star levels. 1 star is 10 cycles a week. 2 stars, 20 cycles a week. A cycle is $54, always has been the same for this company since the very beginning. That works out to a little over $1,000 a week, $4,000 a month being a 2-star. That's very achievable in this company. A 2-star gets you
extremely achievable.
2-star gets you to about 50, basically about $56,000 a year, $55,000 a year. Here's something that I want to leave with the audience is that if you ever figure out how much money it requires you to retire, you take your lump sum and then you want to say, okay, I'm retiring at the age of 65. I've got a lump sum and you're going to invest it, we would say, at a risk-free rate, which the only risk-free rate, if it's as close as you can get, would be the US government. So they either be in a 10-year or 30-year bond. I'm going to average up now because interest rates are so low, but we're going to say it's at 3%. So in order to generate $56,000 a year in residual income, in other words, I'm making $56,000 in 65, 66, 67, 68, at a 3% interest rate compounded, I would have to have $1.8 million in the bank in order to draw from. And I know as a wealth manager, I know the number of people in this country that have $1.8 million to put into a bond fund. And I'm telling you that number is incredibly, infinitesimally small. I mean, it's less than maybe 5% of the people, much. And they're talking about the entire population. You have that with network marketing getting to just 2-star. So imagine you get to 2-star. What is that worth? Well, that company's worth at least $1.8 million if you did a factor of 3%.
Yeah.
As a real business, you're going to probably put a value of 8% on it. Tech companies might get as much as 20% valuation, whatever factored in. But at 8%, you'd say your company is obviously worth not 1.8, but it's like worth $10 million being a 2-star. You're generating $56,000 a year, each and every single year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and not only that, Bob, I mean, let's look at the realistic thing of what's the average salary for an employee, somebody who's just a regular employee. And I'm not saying that in a way to put anybody down. If you know me, I don't put anybody down. It's not my place. I don't judge anybody for crying out loud, but I just want to be real with people, right? Like the average, I mean, if you look at the average salary, you're talking $40,000 to $50,000, right? Is the average salary. And that would be considered, a good, healthy salary. And you can do that. So I think people kind of get it mixed up too, because it's like, you can either do that. And again, it's going to take you time to build up to that. I mean, we're talking about some commitment. Some people can get it done really fast, depending upon your network, depending upon your communication skills, your people skills, your past job. I mean, there's so much that goes into this that's why you can't compare yourself. Same way you can't compare yourself with somebody's health, you can't compare yourself with somebody else's business because you don't know where they came from. You don't know their connections. They could have spent the last 7 years building their Instagram and have 50,000 followers. And all of a sudden they woke the frick up and they said, wow, network marketing is the greatest thing. And boom, there they go. And you hear this success story. Well, there's always something behind the success. But if you understand what $50,000 in residual income does compared to $50,000 as an employee, number one, you're actually going to be $4,000 to $8,000 richer because of the tax purposes from a 1099 compared to a W-9. You're already giving up. I forgot, it's like 60 cents or something like that to the dollar. Don't quote me on that number, but it's somewhere, I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something high like that, right? So you're already giving up that money. And when you flip that and take back the power, just like we're doing with the ER shred, you see why it fits so beautifully? We're taking back the power. When you take back the power of your life and you build something residually, Bob, even if it takes you 4 years, 5 years to get to $50,000, is that not worth it? Because now you have time freedom. So if you can replace $50,000 with exchanging time for money and building somebody else's future to exchanging that in 5 years of hard work in the pockets of your time, maybe that's an hour a day, 20 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever it is, whatever time you have. I mean, I'll send a message when I'm sitting on the toilet, for crying out loud. Like, there's always time. So just so you know, if you get a message from me, I could be sitting on the toilet, for crying out loud, right? So you can do this anywhere that you want. It's all in the mind. But think about the bigger picture. If I'm making $50,000 of residual income, I no longer have to commute to the office back and forth. I spend an hour every single day, at least in my dad's truck. So that's 6 hours a week that I'm wasting right there of valuable, precious time. How valuable is your time? My time is priceless, right? So if you can build that up, and not that you're not going to have to work. I think it's like, oh, I can work from the beach. Shut up, for crying out loud. Like, seriously, shut up. Put your laptop inside and go to the beach to go to the beach. When you go to work, you go to work, for crying out loud. If you're going to treat this like a business, you got to treat it like a business, right? So we're not just working from the beach. It's the opportunity to tell yourself when you want to work, what hours you want to work. So if I want to wake up and I want to grind from 6 to 8 o'clock, and that's my connecting time, and then let's say I have kids and I'm with my kids all day, and then I have a pocket of 2 hours in mid-afternoon when the kids are taking a break or watching a show, I can work on business again. 2 hours, that's 4 hours now. Then I get 2 hours again later on at night, Bob. So the difference is that I can structure my day. So if I can replace it with that residual income, now let's look at all the other power that we just added to our life too, right? So we want to talk about that bigger picture to get somebody on why we should share, why we should deal with the negative, why we should deal with the no's, why we should deal with the grunt work, why we should do things that others are not willing to do. Well, if you want the things that others want, you got to do what they're not willing to do, right? So you got to do that work. But that's the bigger picture, the comparison between them.
Well, you mentioned several things in there, but one of them being is that, if you could, it's achievable to make $50,000 a year. So you mentioned earlier, $500 a month can save a marriage. I've heard the same facts that's been widely distributed. $500 a month is $6,000 a year, guys. I mean, that's $6,000 a year. That saves marriages. What amazes me is that when I look at ER Shred, so here's the beauty, we'll end it with this, but this is the genius of ER Shred. When we started with this company back in the day when Sean's parents, Randy and Tony, were the first millionaires, they paved the way. All we had was a 9-day. Mm-hmm. We didn't have the internet. It looked like it was literally a bazooka bubblegum wrapper with the instructions on it. There was no, hey, let me email you the PDF and I'll get that to you and whatever. And it was literally cleanse 4 times a day, 2 shakes in the middle, 1 meal, 400 to 600 calories. That was your instruction sheet. We made it work. They paved the way. They gave us the dream, the vision. They ran that, Roger Barrister 4-minute mile. So by the time I met Sean was, I think he was 22. I think he was on mission from 18 to 20. He might've been 23, but here's this good looking guy, just started in Isagenix, had been in it for maybe 2 years with his dad. I asked him about why he did it. He said, well, the reality is, he said, what else am I going to do? I came back from mission. My parents have already done this. Why don't I just follow their lead? I'm into health and fitness. I'm going to do this. And I said, what's your goal? And he made the statement, I'm going to retire when I'm 30. And I laughed because I said the very same thing. I wanted the ability to retire when I was 30, just from a standpoint of thinking that was, wow, that would be really, really cool to say. Sean did it, but he did it with a game plan. He did it knowing what the commitment was and how much hard work it would take. Peter Greenlaw, my sponsor, came into it. His business was in contracting. He was a subcontractor with kitchen cabinets, and it was feast or famine, and it was either boom or bust in his industry. And he literally looked at this as, this is it. This has got to be, this has to work for me. But when he first started, it wasn't so much about a job, it was that additional income. So when he made when he started making enough money, like $500 a month, when I was talking to him, he was 9 months in. Peter, how much are you making? $500 a month. So this is Peter Greenlaw, right? $500 a month, 9 months in, and he's still hustling. I thought, are you nuts? He said, dude, $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. That's a family vacation that I get to take my family on. He goes, how cool is that? He goes, don't you see it? We're going to change the world. So anyway, I said no. Peter said yes. Who's the greater fool? I mean, I'm the clown in the room. I mean, literally the person who thinks he knows it all. Peter was ignorance on fire, but he created something that many people could only dream of. And that is, I know it, everything's relative and there's no guarantees in this. We got all kinds of disclaimers. So people read the disclaimers on the financial disclaimers, but I know Peter's north of 26 million. I know the Escobar family's north of $36 million. I know Sean said at the age of 22, not really knowing a whole lot about life other than going door to door and really hustling. He said, I'm going to retire at 30. And by God, he did it. What you said in the beginning of this call is it requires belief. It requires commitment. It requires action. What I want to ask you, Jesse, is tell people what you think of the ER Shred system as a nutritional system today. What do you think of it in terms of we're providing a system. We have a product. It's called ER Shred. Put your nutritional cap back on. Tell me, how good is this product?
The product or the program?
The program.
The whole thing.
The program.
Yeah, the whole thing is something that I've literally not seen in 20 years of being involved in this industry. I mean, the products themselves, there's a reason that I said yes myself 6 years ago. The quality of standards, the level of certification, the independent, non-mandated extra testing that's done for microbial activity and pesticides and herbicides and heavy metals. I mean, it's just untouched in my mind. So there are other things.
The product I want is ER Shred.
The product, yeah, but that's part of the product, right? The ER Shred itself as a protocol, I mean, it's just epic. That's the one word that I can describe it as, is epic, right? It's life-changing physically and mentally. It can give somebody exactly what somebody needs, and those needs are very widespread for a lot of different people. And as we've come to realize over the last 9 months, it's a magic sauce for everybody, right? It's peanut butter and jelly for everyone, literally for everyone.
So one of the things I had heard, and I might have my numbers off, but they said, and we'll just use weight loss, forget energy drinks or energy. When I think of everything that ER Shred provides, it's obviously optimal health. It's weight loss, it's energy. But I think if you combine energy drinks and you combine weight loss as an industry, I think we're north of $160 billion as an industry annually.
Yeah.
You just said we have the best product system on the marketplace that you've seen in 20 years.
That's from my experience. I mean, I've been in warehouses. I've had access. I've tried it all. I mean, somebody can try to prove me differently, but I truly believe that in my soul. Like, all bullshit aside, not trying just to scam. Like, I will be here if somebody joins me or doesn't join me. You know what I mean? Like, I know better for me. And all I can do is just tell people my truth from what I feel and what I've experienced over time. I've tried a lot of stuff, Bob, but there's nothing that comes close to it, in my opinion.
So what I want to say is basically we're the best of the best, or basically best of breed. We're the Apple in technology. We're the Apple in the health and wellness space in terms of the ER Shred system. Couple that with the business, the business model we have with our fulfillment company, which we've talked about how great that is. And the ace in the hole is, you mentioned with a franchise, you buy a franchise because it's already laid out for you. They've done all the hard work. They've done all the advertising. They've done the branding, right? We're branding ER Shred, of course. But Tony and Randy Escobar literally set it in motion. They created it. They've done it, along with Sean and obviously Crystal were a big, big part of that. So we've taken the best of the best of what we've created over the last 20 years with our fulfillment company in terms of a system, and we're combining it with the single best business system. But guys, one of the things that you're going to hear about over and over again in this industry is simplicity duplicates. Yeah. There's a reason there's only 4 or 5 products, 4 products totally, and maybe 5 with the sleep spray, but there's a reason for that. And it's simpler than the old 9-day. But this is the most simplistic, the most results-driven system I've ever seen. And when you want to know what excites me, what excites Jesse, what I'm hoping people get out of this call tonight is that, oh my God, if I just begin to share my good health with others and allow other people to get the same enjoyment, not only going to get a lot of gratitude, they're going to love you for introducing them to this program, to this community. But you have an opportunity if you choose into, I don't know another industry. You can't even go into pro sports and point this out. There's not many industries you can go to and say, you write your own ticket. Jimmy Smith's family, 60 million plus, I think in total. Escobar's 36 million. Peter Greenlaw with his wife, Sarah, the Greenlaw Group, 26 million plus. And it goes down from there. But there is a significant opportunity here. And what puzzles me as much as you, when we tell people here are the tracks to run on, go get it, and yet they don't want to commit, and they do it 50% or half-ass it, and you get a half-ass result, right? That's going to happen in anything in life. But we're giving them the single best way to regain their health with ER Shred. We're also giving you the single best business opportunity on planet Earth, because it is network marketing. We talked about that. It's because of the industry you're in, which is health and wellness. People are more overweight today than ever before in the last 20 years. And finally, you get to decide what your paycheck is. It's unlimited. There's not another business you're in. I don't care if you're a CEO. You're capped out at a certain level. There's no capping with this. You make it as much as you want. And buddy, I am with you. I want to be at the top with you. I know Sean's there already. We're going to try to race to catch him. But here's the point is that we want our ER Shred community. We want you all to come along. We want everybody to have success with your health. But we also want to have the opportunity for you to be able to pay for it, pay it forward, get your products paid for, maybe make $500 a month. That'd be cool. You save your marriage, all kidding aside. But let's just say it's $56,000 a year. That's enough to have a significant impact on your financial wealth. Because again, very few people have an investment that gives you that kind of return on an annual basis. Well, Jesse,
my hope, Bob, is that, again, we can talk the bigger numbers and stuff, but, we can talk $500 a week, but I mean, even $200 a week is enough to get free food, free superfood, some of the best that we've ever seen. Right. And, if somebody, I hope that I want to reach the brand new person. Okay. The person that might come into this is just like, I don't even know. All I can do, this is the best piece of advice that I ever heard, being at one of the big conferences that we go to. And somebody said to me, they said, listen, the best piece of advice that I could possibly give you is this time next year, have your ass in a seat. And the year after that, have your ass in a seat. And the year after that, have your ass in a seat. And all I can do is just tell you, have your ass in a seat every single chance that you get. And even if that's just free food, I mean, come on, would you go to the grocery store? Imagine if you went through the grocery store, filled up your grocery cart, got to the cashier and they said, okay, you owe $0. Have a great day. I mean, would anybody frown upon that? And I want people to get out of their own way, Bob. I want them to stop with this nonsense about network marketing. And really who we hear this from is from not so much the millennials, more so the millennials now are more open-minded. I mean, look at our start group and look at how that's exploded and all the young people that are understanding the power and they're taking back control and they're like, screw you, corporate. But really understand that if corporate's your thing, that's not such a bad thing either. I know multimillionaires that work in corporate. So if that's your jive, that's your jive too. But I need people to understand that network marketing is nothing different than we do every day. I love ButcherBox. I think so many of us have ordered ButcherBox now, right? Well, if you're a friend of mine and I tell you about ButcherBox and you order ButcherBox with my code, Bob, I get $30 off my next ButcherBox. Is that a pyramid? Is that a pyramid? I get things in my mailbox every day from Spectrum, my internet company. It says, if you refer a friend, we'll give you $25. Is Spectrum a pyramid? So I think people are just mixed up, right? So I want to give the message of show up every time, get out of your own way. Don't listen to somebody else's experience. Most people that boohoo network marketing, either their mom or their dad had a bad experience, or their brothers, sisters, moms, boyfriend had a bad experience, and they hear those stories and they let other people dictate. So if you're not sure, do the research, at least look at it with an open mind, look at the opportunity, look at all the benefits that it has. And if your goal is $200 a week, great, let's get you there. If your goal is $6,000 a week, $10,000 a week, great, let's get you there. The tracks can be run for any way that you want to go, depending upon what it is. So if you're somebody that really loves your job, and I know a lot of people that really love their job, keep doing your job, for crying out loud. We're not saying don't do that. Do what makes you happy. But why in the world would you not want an additional chance for residual income? The brightest financial minds in the world, every single one of them, from Warren Buffett to Tony Robbins to everybody, the biggest piece of advice that they ever tell anybody, Bob, and you can probably say this too, is you've got to have multiple streams of income. If you really want to survive and make it, you've got to have multiple streams of income. Look at what just happened with the pandemic and all those people that put all their eggs into one basket. And then boom, it's gone just like that, right? So having multiple streams of income and getting into an opportunity, whether it's this or whatever it is that you do, I just want to highly encourage people to really go for it. And just like it is with health, stop letting other people dictate your future. You take control. You dictate your own future. You make your own damn choices. The opportunity is there for anybody. We literally all have the same opportunity. Anybody can get to where we were, to our rank, Bob. Anybody can get to Sean's rank. I can surpass Sean if I'm willing to do the work for more years than he was willing to do the work. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing that does not happen anywhere else. You cannot do that if you're working. That's one of the beautiful things that is here that's not in something else. But I don't want to boo-hoo other industries or boo-hoo work or boo-hoo any of that. I just want people to know how beautiful of an opportunity this is, and how I believe everybody deserves to have this in their life, even if it's just free food. We say just free food. That makes me want to smack somebody, like when somebody says, I only lost 5 pounds. I'm like, come on. Like, wake up, for crying out loud. Jesus, you don't even realize the opportunity that's right in front of you, man.
It's Jesse, it's been wonderful. We got to do this again and keep building on these things, but don't let other people dictate your life. I know that is just as strong a statement for your health, right? It's also just as strong a statement in terms of your financial well-being, your family's wealth. We've given you a system, in my opinion, and you've already said it, that can give you both. And it's up to you to decide. But here's the power. We talk about ER Shred is empowering. It's empowering because we're giving you the choice. You get to decide. We don't tell you to do it beyond 11 days, right, Jesse? You get to decide if you want to stay in it. It's your choice. Can I eat this? Yeah, you can. We say not to the first 11 days. Do you want to do the business? Do you want to share it? Do you want to get your products paid for? We're here to support you. And that's the other thing we didn't bring up, and we'll talk about it another time, but the fact of leverage, and that is you're part of a team. You're not building this by yourself. And hopefully as you build your team, let's say you're it in the beginning and you refer people in and so on, you are all benefiting from everybody's work. So Paul Getty, a billionaire, oil tycoon, old guy, but from way back when, said I'd rather have 1% effort from 100 men than 100% effort from one man.
Yeah.
And that quantifies network marketing. And that was before even network marketing was around. And that's basically what we're looking for. Bob,
you said something really beautiful. I forgot which leader I heard this from, but they said you're in business for yourself, but never, listen to this, but never by yourself. In business for yourself, but never by yourself. Wrap that around your brain, and I promise you, you don't want to go anywhere, because that is powerful, powerful, powerful stuff right there.
It is. And thank you, Jesse, also for the culture, for Sean, for the culture, Crystal. We've created a community of people who aren't even financially connected, but everybody like in our community, almost 23,000 strong is family. Yep. And you can see how people care about one another and they're willing to do whatever it takes for you to have a good, successful outcome. Go out there and share it, people. Pay it forward. We've got something that's so precious, it would be selfish to keep it to ourselves. Anyway, we went over our hour, but this was well worth it, buddy.
I agree. And I hope everybody takes that challenge, Bob. I said it on the other call, and I'm going to tell you people again. I just want to challenge you to share with one person. If you've experienced the ER shred, it is selfish of you to not share with at least the people that you love the most. And this isn't about going after family. This is about caring about your family. I am on my mom. I am on my dad. I am on my sister all the time to keep doing this because I live this life. I live it, I breathe it, I eat it. I feel epically amazing and awesome. I will be climbing mountains at 70 years old. I hope you're with me, Mr. Bob Sifright, because it's going to be an epic time to look at the world from the top down. And I want to challenge everybody to get out of your own way. Stop letting other people dictate your life. Stop giving a shit about what somebody else thinks. It is not your business to care about somebody else's opinion of you. Get rid of it, lose it, get out of the way. You have no idea what you're holding yourself back from. How do you know? Stop living life. What if it doesn't work? And change that freaking mindset to what if it does work? And you know what? You'll never know if you don't just go. Just go and go and go. And I guarantee that you will surprise yourself at what you can do, especially with an epic opportunity like this, with the ER shred, the community, and all the beauty that we have coming. You guys have no idea. 22.4 thousand is nothing. I'm talking 500,000. I'm talking 1 million. I'm talking around the world. If you could understand the bigger vision, you got to get up, light the fire in your ass and go. That's all I can tell you is go and just get out of your own way. I'm going to blow up right now. I'm so fired up.
All right, guys. We'll end it on that note. Jesse, you're amazing as always, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, brother.
We'll do it again soon. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Good night.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
Hey, thank you so much, you guys. This was amazing. I'm fired up. I got my QR code in PDF today.
Good for you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Love you all. Good night.
Love you too. Thanks, Bob.
Bye-bye.